Hello, welcome to MTurk Guide. Today I'm going to go over Will again because he slightly changed, or I want to say he highlighted one aspect of the instructions, which it tells me that he may have either been getting questions about it or he's getting hits that aren't categorized correctly, and so he's trying to reiterate certain parts of the instructions. So it's worth discussing, especially if you're doing these for the first time or even if you've been doing them for a while, that I quickly go over that and then I'll go through one more. I have another video prior where the additional instructions weren't highlighted. So if you want to compare them and contrast them, you can see what the difference is. It's pretty minor, but as I said, this today, September 11th, 2016, and these new instructions just popped up this morning when I caught 10 of these. So the instructions from here are pretty much the same, and essentially it's just trying to figure out whether a human is performing the action that's described. Yes, no, unsure, replay the video, or the caution or exclamation point, the video didn't play, it doesn't contain a human, it's an image or a series of images, it's a cartoon, computer game, and then you'll watch 20 and you'll let them know if you found the action or not, and then the audio is disabled, which can sometimes lead you to the I don't know. So as usual, you hit proceed, I understand the test. This is the new piece where this wasn't there before. You would go right into the task and it says, are you sure you understand? You must be able to see a real person performing the action, not a machine nor an animal. The action itself has to be taking place during the clip. Ignore the clip if the action has just finished or hasn't started. So sometimes you get like a snippet, like a 2 or 3 second snippet of someone completing an action or completing, the video kind of ending. So now we ignore those. And then computer game or collection of still images are also cautioned. So I think the difference here is that he's highlighting this piece as well as the collection of still images. I don't think was in there before, and I come across those a lot. It's like a slideshow of images. So, okay, I've definitely got it. And so we'll quickly run through 20 just so you can see. So we're looking for a human who's juggling balls. Alrighty, let's see. Okay. So as usual, it's going to bog down a little because I'm webcasting and I have a few tabs open that are doing some work as well. So he's juggling. I've discussed in the other webcasts that the behavior is different if you click here versus clicking here on the bottom. So instead of clicking here, I'm going to click yes, and then it's going to ask me, did the action last for the whole clip? And I'm going to say yes. If I clicked up here, it just goes right to the next video. There's not that additional question. So take it for what it's worth. I thought these originally were just examples, but they are functioning buttons. So the other thing I noticed about this particular set is that he seems to be keeping a lot of the tasks together. So you'll get 3, 4, 5 juggling balls and 3, 4, 5, arranging flowers. So it's a little better organized. So here they were juggling balls. So I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to say yes over here on the right-hand side rather at the bottom. Yes, just goes to the next one. So I don't know why the buttons function differently, but they do. So be aware of that. That you'll have to answer the additional question if you use the buttons below, and it's only for the yes. So if it's no, you can really use any of them on the right-hand side. And the behavior is the same. It's the differences with the yes button. So this is the human laughing. I did not see any laughing, so I'm going to say no. You see a human balloon blowing. So I assume blowing up a balloon. Sometimes you get some weird ones where you could understand how they got to that from the word. It's probably a query and they got some random video from it, but usually it either very clearly has the action or not. So in this case, it definitely has the action. Can you see a human performing the action washing feet? And again, yesterday I did a webcast on the adult content qualification, which I don't believe they use. No, they don't use it. So check out the adult content qualification to make sure that you are opening up as many hits as possible for yourself. That was yesterday's webcast. So yes, I saw a tech of washing feet. Can you see a human performing the action texting? If this is a video of somebody driving by a car accident after the fact and then it's not texting, you'll see that would be some of these videos you see over and over again with Will. I don't know if they're control videos, and when I say that, okay, I've seen this one before and there's no texting that I could see. They might be control videos where he knows the answer and he's looking for people to give the right answer, and if you don't, you could be blocked from doing it. There's no texting in that. In that particular clip of the video, there may be an earlier, but you don't see that, so you certainly don't judge it on the picture at the beginning either, because that may be the beginning of the video and you don't have the beginning of the video. You have the end or you have the middle, so it's exactly what you see happening. So I see her milking a cow. Yes, even though I think he tried to stop her from doing that. Okay, human reading a book. I apologize if there's background noise. We're getting a lot of rain here, so the rain's kind of pounding on the windows and the roof. It's a little distracting. But an ideal day to be turking. Okay, reading a book. I doubt the child can read, but she was doing the action of reading a book. This is a gray area. I'm going to go with yes. She may not have been reading words, but she was looking at the pictures in the beginning, even though she closed it. Again, that's a gray area. I could see yes or no for that one. Depends on how you perform. You could even do I don't know. You don't really know if the child was reading the book. It's a little there's some that are black and white and there's some that are gray. That's an example of a gray one. I wouldn't consider that. Probably not a control one. Again, you have a small child. He appears to be reading this book, so I'm going to say yes. Even in looking back, I think this child's more reading the book than the child before. But again, you can't go back on this one. So, okay, snorkeling. One thing I will note is if you feel that you've screwed up majorly on these ones, go out of the screen and then go back into your hits assigned to you, and then it'll start from the beginning. It doesn't log your answers. So, that's a double-edged sword. It's bad if your computer freezes or something. It's good if you feel like you screwed up and you want to start again. You don't want to submit what you had already done. So snorkeling, that's a yes for this one. So yeah, if you're getting down the road and you feel like there's something that was very obvious and you answered it wrong, like you hit the wrong button or anything like that, you can just restart the whole hit. You lost the other things that you did, but you can go ahead and then start over. So yeah, there's a lot of snorkeling going on here. Occasionally, you'll need to look up the word of the action. You may not know it, like what's it called? Like snatch, which careful Googling that one, but it's actually a weightlifting move with the barbells and like whipping it up and pressing it. So again, probably not what you were thinking, but it is an example of something that if you're not in the weightlifting world, you may have to look up. Another example is busking, a busker or busking, which is performing on a street for money. So like, people who have a hat out and have like a guitar, or they're singing and playing guitar, performing, that's an example of busking. I didn't know that they were called buskers. So some things you might have to look up if you're at all unsure. I'm going to say yes to snorkeling on that one. If you're at all unsure, I would look it up rather than go forward. You could say that you don't know, but if you got like 5 or 6 questions with it, then, that may be kind of borderline, abuse of the I don't know button. Again, I'm not the requester, so I don't know how he's reviewing these, but something to consider. 90% of the time you're going to know what they're asking for, but once in a while you do get the weird ones. I didn't really see any snorkeling going on there, plus it was hard to see that person, so I'm going to say no. Laying bricks. This one's usually, I mean, I've seen laying bricks before, so you'll, hopefully it'll start. Like I said, occasionally you'll get one where the video just doesn't start or you get a blip on it. I would try to replay those, and if they don't play, then I give it a exclamation point. So yeah, he's laying bricks. Let's see where we are here. I know this is moving fairly slowly. 75. And there's a bar, a progress bar, if you will, down the bottom here. It tells me I'm 75% in. So that means each one is 5%. So I have 5 to go in order to finish this hit. So it's if you're running against the clock, which will happen sometimes. These are a 60-minute timer. They used to be 3 hours and 20 minutes. Again, double-edged sword. It's good if you want to put them off for a little bit, but it's bad if you were to let one expire or you returned one, because these are Google requesters. And I've mentioned in other webcasts that Google requesters, if you return or let one expire, you're locked out of all Google hits for the duration. So that means 3 hours and 20 minutes, you'd be locked out of Google hits. So it's just not something it's something you really want to avoid. So that's kind of the double-edged sword with this being a 60-minute timer. If you're going to do the 10 that you get in every batch that Will drops, you're going to need to address them pretty quickly. You can't really let them sit in your queue for too long. And since these are pretty popular hits, you don't want to leave the batch sitting there because it'll be gone by the time you go back. It's just the nature of it. There's a lot of people on MTurk, and even on a Sunday, which is today's a Sunday, it's a little bit slower. I think people are doing family time and things like that. But even still, it's fairly busy on a Sunday. So Will's a requester that people keep on watch, and if he pops up, they're going to hop right on it. So yeah, yeah, I'd say that's juggling fire. So we have one more after this. I think this has been a pretty indicative of what you'll see from these hits. Nothing too outlandish and nothing overly graphic. There is a warning of adult content on this, so be aware. Occasionally you might see a strange video, but they're on YouTube, so usually YouTube will catch anything that's really, really outlandish. But okay, you definitely did a little hopscotch there at the end. Okay, so we did 20. It's a little slower than usual, but we did it. And you submit the hit, and then you're done. So hopefully that's helpful. As I said, if you've been doing these for a while, take a look at those extra or highlighted instructions and make sure that you're following those. To me, that tells me a requester might be gearing up to either reject people or put some quals in place and keep the better workers and qual out the workers that aren't doing a good job. So definitely make sure you're giving each one the attention it needs. All right. If you have any questions, please ask, comment, like, subscribe. And later today, I will be putting up a webcast on installing scripts and Turk Master, hopefully Panda Crazy, if I can get that in today. That's the stuff you need to make more money. If you're just clicking around and accepting hits without scripts, then you need these scripts to help you be more efficient. So definitely check that out. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.